Weston and Tyler. Nice to meet you guys. Um, just starting off, there's more eyeballs on soccer in the United States than probably ever before. So I just love your thoughts on the growth of the game and the national team's role in that. Don't jump at once.
um, no, definitely exciting times ahead for obviously ourselves and just the nation in general of the way that we're trying to promote the game and push the game forward. I feel that we obviously have a huge responsibility in doing that with the team that we have at our hands right now and our disposal. Um, um, so just looking forward towards Copa America, we look at it as a huge platform to do that. Obviously 2026 is still really far away, but if we can kind of just progress and develop in this tournament right now and use a lot of these experiences, huge opportunity for us.
I love that. Yeah, well, what he said.
Not disposable.
Yeah, I was going to say, and you alluded to the World Cup coming up in a couple of years. Obviously, Copa starting in a couple of weeks. But just what pressures do you feel knowing that you guys are the hosts of all these tournaments, plus the Club World Cup? The Olympics coming in 28 to Los Angeles, and potentially the Women's World Cup in 31. So, is there any added pressure knowing that we're hosts too, and there's even more pressure to perform?
You feel no, I don't think there's really any added pressure. I mean, we're professional athletes. We deal with pressure our whole career, and even also before our career when it started. I think it's not. I wouldn't say added pressure. I think it's more added excitement because we spend our careers over in Europe, playing in Europe. We come back every once in a while with the national team. So I think the World Cup in general and Copa America just allows friends, families that maybe have not been able to see us play in a long time. Also, fans that aren't able to get over to Europe to watch a game, to maybe introduce new people into the game because ultimately, like you said before, we want to grow the sport here in America. And I think there's no better way to do that than to bring the sport to America itself.
I love it. Anything to add?
No, I mean, I think I just got to emphasize exactly what you said about having friends and family watching you play. Week in, week out, we're battling in Europe, and no matter how comfortable you are at your club, you're never as comfortable as when you have friends and family there to support you. So when we have the opportunity to come back and be home, it's just a huge excitement factor for us.
Yeah, I love that. Weston's like, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm out of here.
Back.
Sorry, I didn't think it was that bad of an interview. It was just a couple of questions. And
we're good. Background. That's what
No, it's all good. It's all good. Speaking of that, the growing interest and investment, obviously, there's more brands and support behind soccer and the U.S. Soccer Federation and the national teams than ever before. And obviously, big Truly, logo right behind you guys, and we're talking on behalf of them. So just talk about the support that brands like Truly, have given you guys, on maybe not on the field. You probably shouldn't drink and play soccer, but maybe off the field in terms of helping grow the game and engage new audiences.
Yeah, I mean, I think for both of us, we can both say that the relationship that we have with Truly is an authentic connection. From the moment that I signed my first professional contract, I always said to myself, if I have any opportunity to give back to the community, I want to be able to do that. And in partnering with Truly, they have the same goal. So, for both of us, obviously, to be on the same campaign together is an added bonus for both of us. But to be with a partner that, really wants to dedicate their time, money, investment into the community and make a difference to grow the sport, that's ultimately the most important thing for me.
Also giving us a good celebration drink after games. Definitely enjoy that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We're talking about Copa obviously a little bit here, but I'd love to talk about the last World Cup. If I'm not mistaken, I think DeAndre Yedlin was the only guy that had prior World Cup experience going into that tournament. So a lot of, new territory for players, including yourself. I think US had the second youngest team, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But what experiences did you guys get, both individually and as a team from that experience in Qatar that maybe you guys can leverage going forward here into Copa and then potentially the next World Cup in 26?
I mean, I think the experience I mean, that I got, and maybe some other players have got, is realizing that there's no bigger stage. Um, there's no bigger, not really pressure, but pressure that you feel whenever you're on that field and time's ticking and it's 0-0 and you need a goal. And it's do or die. And it's whether you advance or not, like we had against Iran. Uh, or Iran.
Yeah, I was going to correct you, but
Iran, sorry. Against Iran. But then it also shows that there's no sweeter and better feeling like after we got that goal, celebrating with each other on that stage, with our families in the crowd. I think it's just one of those things that it's it's unexplainable. It's something that you have to experience yourself. But like you said before, understanding that knockout games are very important as well. Uh, Something we want to get better at, something that we have to understand better, and something that we're hoping to learn in Copa as well.
Tyler, what about for you from the World Cup?
I mean, I think for me, you really realize the heightened emotions of every single play in one of those games. I think the ability to be composed and be able to perform under pressure is really tested at that level. But I have to say, there was no better feeling than walking out in that moment with the team and just being able to represent your country at that level. The support was kind of, we didn't really understand the magnitude of what we were representing until post World Cup, because being in Qatar and being so, locked in and focused and honed in on the tournament and what we had to do, until we could really take ourselves away. And after we were knocked out, take a look at everything that was going on. I don't think we really realized the impact that we had. So I think that, going into 2026 and especially Copa as, a preview to what the World Cup will be like, we have to understand the impact that we're going to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure in that moment you're very focused on the matches themselves and not all of everything that's around it. Like you said, you can pause and breathe afterwards and then kind of look back and really, enjoy that moment, which is awesome. Copa Group C, Bolivia first, Panama, Uruguay coming up. So, you don't necessarily have to break down each of those opponents, but just, what is it going to take to get out of Group C? And Weston, you mentioned we need to be better in these knockout games too. So if you guys have that opportunity in Copa, what are some keys knowing that if you get to that stage, you have to win in order to advance or it's go home?
Well, I mean, each of those teams, I mean, I've never played against Bolivia. I've played against Panama. We've played against Uruguay. We've had some experience against them. We know what they're like. But I think ultimately it's going to be super important. It's going to be one of those type of games where it's do or die. You need to win, and what we want to do, what we want to accomplish, what our goal is, which has changed soccer in America forever. I think it's no better stage to do it than right now, and no better time than right now. So I think we'll all take this time, this month that we have together, which is the longest time we've had, to kind of fine detail, pay attention to the fine detail, and fine tune the things that we need to fine tune to be completely prepared and go on with the ultimate confidence that we are going to win these games and that we can, and that teams should be afraid of us.
Yeah, same in terms of the opponents that we're playing. Bolivia, we haven't had obviously an opportunity to play against them yet. Panama, so many times I can't even keep count of. And then Uruguay, we had the opportunity to play once. But the one thing I'll say about Uruguay, obviously, as of recently, is with a new coach and obviously an amazing coach in Marcelo Bielsa, I think that they're going to be absolutely flying going into this tournament. They have a unique style of the way that they play, and I think you can see in their past fixtures. I don't know if it was part of CONMEBOL tournament or whatever it was, but they came out on top, and they've had the best record in CONMEBOL for quite a fair amount of time now. So they have a unique set of players, and that's obviously going to be an important game. But we don't want to put ourselves in a position going into the third group game to have to get an amazing result. I think we can put ourselves in a good position after the first and second game, and when we have the opportunity to play Uruguay, hopefully we can go head to head.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Individually for you guys, kind of polar opposite domestic seasons. Weston, I know you guys, won the Coppa Italia there with Juventus. I think you topped the league with assists in Serie A. So, I just love to talk about your campaign there in Italy and just the confidence it gives you going into this summer.
No, I think this year was definitely a year of ups and downs, especially if you want to include my season that I had, 6 months that I had at Leeds. Was just a year of ups and downs, and honestly, a really big need of self belief, and belief from the people closest to me. It wasn't easy. It was difficult. Went through a lot of trials and tribulations, but ultimately, my back's against the wall, and the only way was forward. And I just wanted to prove to myself that I could still play at a high level. And I think I did everything that I could on and off the field, especially during the summer in preparation to come back in the season fit, come back in the season ready, prepared, and mentally prepared as well, knowing that it wasn't going to be a walk in the park. I think that's whenever I tend to do my best. It's when people are doubting me, and just so happens that I was able to get those assists, and thanks to my teammates as well that were able to score them. But I think it was something that I fought for, something that I sacrificed for, something that I needed at this point in my career, and I think it's ultimately going to be a better feeling, and I feel more confident coming into here and going into a tournament like this.
That's great. And Tyler, again, I know for you it was tough, obviously, with the injuries and the surgery and all that kind of stuff like that. So how are you feeling physically and maybe even more so mentally, knowing that, again, you didn't get a lot of the time on the field this past season?
No, I'm in a really good spot physically right now. I've been really fortunate to work with a lot of good people here at the Federation to allow me the right build-up now coming into this camp, and even having a little bit more time than normal going into obviously the really, really important fixtures. I'm still going to have a nice build-up into the first game of Copa America. So, for me mentally, I'm in a good spot. Being around these guys again is like being around, lifelong friends, and I don't enjoy being around him, but everyone else. But no, really being around these guys, they keep me where I'm at. They keep pushing me to where I need to be. But again, having my son this year was the most important, part of my life, a moment of my life, and in reality, there's a silver lining to everything, and I was way more focused on that than football. Obviously, it's important to play games, but if there's one year that I can miss games, this would have been the year. So I'm happy to be healthy right now. I'm happy to keep pushing fitness, but I've never doubted myself in terms of my capabilities on the field, and I have enough self-belief to go out there and do it.
Awesome. Very cool. And I know our time is coming to an end here. So I want to ask, I guess, maybe as the last one, just how would you define success in Copa America? Is it winning the entire tournament? Is it, winning a knockout round and getting further than maybe, the team did at the World Cup? Like, how would you guys define success, for this tournament this summer?
Yeah, for me, it's winning knockout games. So, obviously getting out of the group is the most important thing, but, winning a knockout game is super, super important. I think it just shows an area of development that we really need to have in terms of, you want to talk about 2026 World Cup and raising a trophy. You have to be able to win knockout games. No team wins a trophy without winning a knockout game. So, I think that's kind of, where our heads are at. We believe that we're in the top 4 teams in Copa America when we're at our best. But you can't do that without proving you can win knockout games. So, it'll be a good test for us.
I think for me, success, I mean, obviously, you can define success in many different ways. Ultimate success, for sure, in this tournament is winning the whole thing. And that's something that we're striving for. That's something that we want to do, because on soccer is such a beautiful sport that on any given day, anything can happen. And it's not like we're so far behind, the teams that may be more favored for this tournament. So ultimately, we're all competitive as hell. We all want to win, and we're going in with the mindset of, look, we're going for the first place, and if not, then what are we here for? So